episode of Freeform Radio on the Freeform Network. You can follow us on Facebook at Freeform Network. You already know we're on Twitter. We're at FFR Podcast. And of course, if you have any questions, you have any suggestions for our show, ffnquestions at gmail.com is where you want to send that. I am one of your many hosts. Unfortunately, one of our hosts is not here today, Daniel, but you have the awesome duo here, Noel, and to my right, I have.
What's up, Andy in the house, and I ain't sick, and I'm here to fucking rock the mic.
Well, that's good to hear, man. I'm actually feeling pretty good too. A little bit tired. I was working out earlier, but I'm ready for this episode for sure.
That's
So we'll.
that's good to hear, man. I know I see you taking the initiative in working doing an early New Year's resolution. You don't wait till the first.
Exactly, man. Like I said last episode, that New Year's resolutions for me, I mainly do everyday resolutions, man. That's what you got to do. Let's take it one day at a time.
Yeah, that's on my thing. Like I'm trying to do that healthy thing. We kind of talked about it before you jumped on how you're working out. Is there when you uh, working out, like I feel for me personally, when I was in for me it takes me time to get going, um to get that routine. I don't know how you feel about it, Noel. Like I got to get a routine, and once you get that fucking your motor going and you do it like daily, it's kind of hard to stop. But to me, my biggest issue is just getting that fucking ball rolling, getting my motor going, you know?
I hear you on that. It's something like almost like a habit, a good habit you're trying to set up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. I've always the last couple times that's my struggle is just getting into that fucking habit of doing it every day.
Yeah, usually like something to kind of help you give you a little more motivation, either some good music or maybe some coffee beforehand, some kind of pre-workout, something to give you a little boost and a little bit of a little umph towards that workout motivation.
Is there a supplement you do before a workout, or just an energy drink or anything?
I used to be big on the supplements before the workouts, the pre-workouts. Right now, actually for the last like 2, 3 months, I want to say, since like September, maybe a little earlier, I just been doing coffee, and that's been good enough for me. The thing is, you don't want it to be a crutch. You do want it to give you that boost, but then after a while, you start to get used to it. You need more, and you need more, and then if you don't have any, you seem like weaker. So what I did was I did it for like a couple months, and then now it's a couple months without it, and then starting like the new year, maybe around February, I'll pick it up again, and just kind of cycle off like that. You know what I mean?
Interesting. The coffee, is there a particular brand or a particular uh like type, organic? Or is there K cups, instant? you know.
I guess it's your preference, really. The caffeine is really the only thing about it that's gonna assist you with that. Um, I mean, I guess maybe if you're the kind of person that really digs their coffee, you might get like a nice like a better mood, maybe like an elevated mood from it. But the caffeine is really all I'm looking for. So just about anything will work. The K cups or Folgers, whatever you enjoy.
At your house, is there a particular style, or you got like an actual coffee maker, or do you have K cups?
I did try the K cups when I was working, but like at my old job, I'm saying they had the whole machine set up there. I haven't tried that in a while though. Right now, what I do is just like the instant stuff, and I know people are gonna fucking give me shit for it because they don't like a lot of people don't like the instant stuff. But dude, it's like it's quick, it's easy. There's no mess. I don't have to like freaking have these extra accessories. You just have hot water, you got the crystals, and then you got your coffee, and that's it.
Now, you know that someone told me, my whole time I've been on this earth, someone told me that the light roast have more caffeine than the dark roast. Did you know that?
Well, that's weird.
Yeah, to
That
me, I
sounds,
thought it'd be the opposite, but I was told that the light roast have more caffeine than dark roast coffee.
huh? I'd have to look into it myself. I'd never heard of that one, but
So, yeah, I started experimenting at work because
hmm
this was brought to my attention. We have K cups and we have a dark roast and a light roast. Yeah, I could say the light roast does. I feel like it gives me more of a kick.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you know the brand, you should be able to look it up to see the actual milligrams of caffeine per serving. And I know for me, like I like the crystals, the instant ones. A
Right.
lot of people shit on it, but I don't just do like a nice little teaspoon. Most people just go really light on it. I go freaking like heavy-handed on that. I do like two, three like tablespoons of that
Damn.
shit.
Now, do you
And
put
like
any other shit on there, or just straight up black coffee?
I'll put just a little like bit of milk on there just for like more like a lighter tone, lighter color.
Right.
And then I'll put some sugar in there, not too much, but usually the sugar we get here is like natural sugar. It's not like refined and all that shit. Like it's pretty good sugar. You have to like grind it up all the time because otherwise it starts to like clump up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I prefer. We're trying to do the workout thing. I prefer my workouts in the morning, and like I get up super early. I do. I bought a treadmill. I put it in here, and like my thing, like I said, is getting that routine to just fucking do it. But once you get after like a week of constantly doing it, usually it just becomes like it's just like second nature. You just fucking wake up and jump onto the thing. But usually on my thing, I generally just like to jump on and start doing it. I don't bring water or any of that shit. Are you the type of guy that brings the jug of water, or you just fucking you're with your bandana and start fucking grunting, or you just have your coffee and then you just jump on whatever you're doing?
Well, it depends on the day. So like today, for example, I didn't have my water with me, and towards the end of it, I did kind of feel like I had like dry mouth, like I wanted water, but I didn't
Right,
have any.
right.
So it depends on the day. Some days, if you're doing more cardio, you're sweating more, you might need a little more water to refresh. And if you're lifting heavy weights, I would recommend a little bit. You don't need a whole gallon or nothing. Just I use a blender bottle, 20 ounces. It's like a
Right, right.
standard bottle of water, and that gets me through. I don't even finish it all sometimes, but I mean, you're supposed to drink a lot of water, so there's no harm in bringing it with you. It all depends on where you're working at, where if there's room for it, you don't want to spill it and shit like that.
Yeah, for all you people out there who work, all our fans, if you got workout tips or whatever the fuck, cardio, send to ffnquestions@gmail.com. We could share or like to hear some things, but mostly, I do cardio, dude, and I do like a fucking full hour, and I try to do the bigger incline because I'm getting older. When I incline on the treadmill, my fucking knees start hurting as I get older, man. I need those knee braces that Brett Favre sells, those copper tone fucking knee braces.
Like Steve Austin had those thick
Yeah,
braces, the
dude.
back
Yeah, I
braces.
need those mechanical ones and shit because I don't know. And someone, I think Efren, one of your brothers, told me to use the elliptical. But I feel like the intensity isn't there. I don't know how you feel about that. Me, the elliptical doesn't give me the same intensity as a treadmill.
I wish I had an elliptical. I have a treadmill. That's what I use today, and that was only kind of to supplement the weightlifting. I wish I would have a elliptical, mainly because it doesn't put that strain on your knees, and
Yeah, exactly.
you're able to do the resistance. Like I would sometimes raise it to like a 6 to almost 10 resistance, depending on what I was going for that day. And trust me, man, like you would sweat. You would be just beads and beads of sweat down upon you, man. It's ridiculous. It gives you a good burn, and you feel amazing afterwards. You don't feel, if anything, you feel more energetic afterwards. You don't feel like the joint pain that just it kind of depresses you with all this pain when you get off, the treadmill. Sometimes you're just like, damn, like you worked out, and I think sometimes with an elliptical, like you worked out mentally, but like physically and emotionally, you feel just great. You feel like you didn't work out.
Yeah, because I think what I'm chasing is when I was at my peak, I was running like 7 miles 6 days a week. That runner's high, that's some real shit right there.
Oh yeah.
That dude, you feel great. But like the thing the afterwards is, to me, there was a crash. I would get home and like after running all that, and then I'd just be like sore. My knees would hurt. I'm like stiff, and I was never. I feel that was one of my issues. Is I was never able to compensate the relaxation part because it is important too. I would just literally have a light dinner and just like watch TV, and then I people. That's why I was told you shouldn't run that much, like 6 days a week. You should really just be running like they told me like 4 days, but I was doing it like 6 days a week, literally for like almost 2 years.
No, yeah, man, it definitely puts a lot of strain on your heart. I've actually been hearing about studies coming out that
Yeah.
prove that a lot of people that do long distance running will actually have a higher risk of like some kind of heart attack or some heart related death because the strain that you're putting on the heart that's not natural, like strain that humans normally put day to day. Um, what I would recommend, and I mean this is entirely up to you and what you're feeling, but I would recommend you incorporate more like weightlifting stuff. That would actually boost your joints over time. It'll strengthen the tendons, the ligaments, the joint muscles, and it'll also give you a boost of testosterone, which will help with your recovery. So when you do those runs, when you do the workouts, you'll recover better at the end. Because as we age, especially for men, our testosterone levels drop. Usually starts when you're in like your mid 30s. It'll start to dip a little bit when you get into your 40s, even more in your 50s, etc. So, if anything, you don't have to go crazy in the beginning because usually that's the mistake people make. It's like, oh man, I haven't worked out in years. Let me just start lifting hundreds and hundreds of pounds. It's like, nah, man. Like, do some push-ups first, just with your natural weight, the weight you're carrying around. Do some push-ups every day. Do like 20 in the morning, and then at in the either on your lunch or at night or whenever you feel comfortable, do some squats. You don't have to have like a bar or anything. Just do squats on your like with your own natural body weight. Squat down, get up, and do like 20 or 30 of those every day. I did that for about like 6 months before I started actually lifting weights. That's when I actually bought the weightlifting kit
Right.
I got. I
Hmm.
got the whole shebang, all the weight set, everything, and then I was surprised at how much easier it was. I was able to get into the whole routine of lifting weights, and just the boost it gives you. I can run, and I won't feel as tired as I did before. Now that I'm doing the weightlifting with the running.
Wow. I'm glad you brought up testosterone because my birthday was a couple weeks ago,
Oh wow, happy
and
birthday, brother!
yeah, thank you. Get this, I had to take people out on my birthday, and I had to pay Noel. That's how much my friends love me.
Oh snap, man! Hey, we're
That's
trying
all
to
right.
fill
I
the one
invited
over.
them. Yeah, I had to invite them. That's what I wanted. Just I'm not dropping names, but I didn't mind. I wanted to be with certain people, so it was great. But we and you talk. I know you. I don't know how regular you listen, but I know you listen to Joe Rogan, and he's always pushing the testosterone programs,
Right.
and because he's always talking about how, like you said, you get older, and I'm 41 now, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I've been thinking about it more and more to like kickstart like a healthier lifestyle.
Mm.
Cause and like one of the issues is for me personally at this age is energy, and I always think it's like a lack of sleep, but I go to bed pretty early, and I know I always read the positives, the pros of the testosterone treatments, and it's if you get if you do it right, I mean the energy, the fucking and that's like the big two, and you feel younger, man, and the big part of it is the energy. So, and I've kind of looked into it, but I'm kind of nervous because it's also a lot of it's the kind of doctor you find, because you don't want to just go to any fucking Joe Schmo, because you could overdo it. It could kind of not fuck you up, but it has some side effects.
Yeah, that there's not enough of a like a long duration of studies on it yet because it's still relatively new. They're coming out with like newer versions of this testosterone replacement therapy is what they call it. But
Right.
there are alternatives to that. Like you don't necessarily have to get, the whole syringe and steroid kind of thing. You can do the natural way, which is like your diet, and they have like supplements that boost your natural ability to make testosterone. But of course, let's say hypothetically, for people that have like natural deficiencies or maybe um, a deficiency due to some kind of like genetic thing, right? Then that's
Right.
that's when they use like the heavy duty TRT, the replacement therapy, because some people, yeah, like they almost completely lose the ability to make testosterone, and so obviously you would need this to bring your levels back up to regular. But hypothetically speaking, if you're just a little bit lower than normal and you change your diet, you might be able to get back to that normal level. But if you use the heavy duty stuff right off the bat, you might be dependent on that for the rest of your life because your body will be like, oh man, well we don't need to make any more. You're just getting this from the supplement, or you're getting it from the TRT, the replacement therapy. So little by little, your body will stop making it even less, and you'll be completely relying on that drug.
Well, that's what like I'm afraid of. I know there's been all these studies and there's been all this, 'cause steroids it's a bad word, but now they call it something different, supplements and it keeps evolving, but
Like steroids shouldn't even get a bad rap. It kind of bugs me sometimes that people think it's so bad because your
right,
your body naturally makes steroids. You know that? Like
right.
it's just when you get excess amounts, that's when it becomes bad. But if you're getting the natural amount that your human body should be able to produce, and all you're doing is supplementing that, maybe from an external source, that it shouldn't be seen as something that's taboo. You're just trying to live a healthy life.
Yeah, that's why especially as you get older, I mean, all you fucking younger kids, you never thought as you get older you're like, this shit ain't gonna happen to me, but it fucking happens to you. And I've seen a lot of shit like in your 20s, you could literally go out fucking drinking, and then the next morning you have a slight hangover, and you can still go fucking run 5 miles. You can't do that shit in your fucking late 30s and 40s. It'll kick your ass. And the recovery, that's another thing. The fucking recovery at this age, it's like, it's fucking slow, man. And you need help. And there's all this stuff to help, but a lot of it gets shitted on, and some of it works. But there's like all these side effects. And the only person I know that talks about it profoundly is Joe Rogan. And you look at him, that dude's almost what, he's like his late 40s,
No,
and he's
he's
ripped.
51, I
He's
think.
he's a 51. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And he looks amazing for that age, but he has he watches what he eats. He does the testosterone program. He works out consistently, and he smokes weed, and all this, and it's just like, wow. Like, you could see just what he's doing. It's amazing. It's just, you know, to me in my head, I'm just still like, man, I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Like I get where you're coming from on that. You don't want to make like a mistake that you're gonna pay for in the long run. Um, the thing is, it's like it becomes more difficult as you age to get this balanced like approach to life because there's responsibilities and there's all these things you got going on in your life as you get older that it's not as easy to be like, oh, I need to eat at 10 p.m. or at 10 a.m. I need to eat like a cup of beans. An hour later I have to
Ah,
have
dude, yeah,
less.
that's not sustainable.
It's so difficult to be able to do the specific regimen. But dude, the diet is so incredibly important. I was
Yes.
I was watching this video the other day about a vegan who converted from veganism to uh, to a balanced diet including meat, and his whole life changed so drastically once he started eating meat because without certain vitamins, certain like nutrients and proteins, uh, it becomes difficult for your body to sustain itself. And just purely going on these vegetable diets sometimes actually wreaks havoc on your digestive system because every person's different, right? And this particular person, maybe I could leave a link later on when we drop the episode. But this particular person, this YouTuber, he lived a vegan lifestyle because he had not a genetic disease, but one of those digestive diseases, like not Crohn's, but gastric. gastritis or something like
The one
that.
where you're always farting.
Well, no, it's like an inflammation of the intestines. So it's like you're constantly bleeding in your stools and stuff like that. And he had an irrit.
What?
Yeah, he had.
That's holy shit.
Yeah, no, it's bad. Like it's life threatening, and when in the most extreme cases, but in his case, it was just eating away at him little by little. He was getting skinny. He was getting frail. He was like his skin was getting all messed up. His teeth were turning brown. He looked like he was just dying, dude.
He was dying.
It
Yeah.
was so sad. But and he's like, I'm living a vegan lifestyle. I'm eating like very like proportionate amounts. Like he measures every single thing, every calorie accounted for, every nutrient, vitamin, supplement accounted for, and yet the vegan lifestyle was not working for him. And so I was so shocked to see this. And once I saw like the fast forward, he started eating meat. He started changing his diet. He started taking out the allergens because, believe it or not, a lot of foods are for every different person. Certain foods cause allergies, right? So you
Right.
never know. You could be eating something that you're allergic to, but you're just so used to it that like you're not noticing that allergy. But once you take it out of your diet, you just feel 10 times better.
Yeah, the vegans. Oh man, we're probably gonna get a shitload of emails every time we talk about the vegans. They send us all this shit.
Like,
But
I'm not
yeah,
taking
it to
shit.
me, every vegan that I seen has it's like been one extreme, right? It's been like they're thin, but they don't look healthy. But they claim to be healthy, but they're just like you could tell they're like missing nutrients, or they're fat because they eat nothing but crap except meat, like what I call not real food. I dated a vegan for a little bit, and she wasn't the thin one, and I went to her house and she had all this carbs, all this chocolate and like candy bars, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, I thought vegans were supposed to be like healthy, and she was just eating carbs, pasta, cheeses. Like I don't even know if like a complete. I thought vegans or certain stages of vegan. I know they can't eat cheese, right?
Right, because that comes from an animal,
Yes.
technically.
Yeah, but she was just. I'm like, it didn't work out. But yeah, I was just like, oh man, like this is weird.
Unless it was like a soy cheese, I guess they make that because like soy milk, so maybe you can make cheese out of that. I'm not too certain. I don't want to put like a bad rap on veganism because
It's okay.
some of them are healthy and some of them are not. I think it all depends on how your body adapts to it because everybody's body is different. You can't say this diet works for everybody. It's like no, that's not how it works. Every person digests things differently, and it's something that you really have to like look at the individual and what allergens they have, what things digest better, or what things they're able to pull more nutrients out of.
Right. Yes, I'm glad you bring up diet because that is important. You see all these, diets like I don't want to call them fad diets, but there is some science to it. Like I've done Atkins and I immediately lost like 30 pounds in one time in my life, but that's not sustainable, man. You know,
Right.
you can't just fucking eat like bacon, like ground beef and steak. One, it's first of all, it's good, but it's people call it like there's also like some variations caveman diet and stuff. Like I get it, it's real food, but to me like I did it for like half a year and I lost a lot of weight, but I was just like, dude, like you get cravings. And then like the current one right now, I don't know too much about it. I know some people at work that do it, that keto diet. I don't know how much you
Yeah.
know about it, like how you help your body process certain food, like it burns something, right? By the crap that you eat.
Right. Yeah. Like there's uh there's certain stages, I guess, that your body goes in, and at a certain point, based on how, like, let's say you have lower carbs consumed throughout the day, your body might generate more a higher metabolism or slower metabolism, depending on who you are, to adjust for the calories you're taking in, to adjust for the carbs you're taking in. And another thing about these diets is that I'm not a big fan of going just a one particular thing diet.
Right.
Like somebody's like, oh, you got to go on the coconut diet, or you got to go on the meat diet, or the fucking the legumes diet, or something. You know, it's like
Right.
you want to have a balanced diet here. Like for example, this guy, the vegan I'm telling you about, he started eating, incorporating more things into his diet because he wasn't able to digest all these plants that he was eating. Some of them were having like allergens for him specifically. So I think the best approach is that you have to have a balanced diet and introduce little by little certain things. But ultimately, what a lot of people have agreed on, I think across the spectrum, vegan or carnivore or omnivore, whatever you want to call them, all the differences. One thing they agree on is organic is the best way to go. You don't want to have hormones or anything processed in your foods. Another thing is lower on the carbs generally because carbs, certain carbs that is, generally cause inflammation throughout the body, and that's really the cause of a lot of different diseases up to and including cancer.
Yeah, processed foods. Even as I got older, I know that shit's bad for you. I mean, I really try to limit that, but sometimes, man, I just need those frozen chicken tenders, buffalo style, man. I
Little
just can't
guilty
help myself
pleasures.
sometimes. Yeah, man. But I'm like, it's chicken and I baked it, but normally, yeah, it's the dieting. I know. I remember when my big thing with my weight loss was counting calories. But I used to read some goofy ones. I read one that this guy said you could if you eat sensibly and then if you don't eat anything after 2:30, like, and you just drink nothing but water, that your body's doing something to lose weight. But like, who the fuck want to eat after 2:30, man? Like, it's like that's insane, dude. Like, I used to read all this crazy stuff. That was the one that really caught my eye. Like, yeah, don't eat anything after 2:30.
Well, like, all right, so I can't speak on that individual exactly because I'm not sure their whole background or what situation they got going on. For me specifically, I do abide to the usefulness of fasting. They call it intermittent fasting.
Mm-hmm.
Intermittent, yeah, intermittent fasting.
Intermittent.
Yeah, you know Terry Crews, the he's an actor. He's on
The
Brooklyn
actor,
Nine-Nine.
the bald actor, and
He's like really jacked. He
yeah, he was President Camacho on Idiocracy,
yeah, that
right?
guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he really he promotes that heavily, and he credits that to his body, right? Like to how he is and how he's able to stay in the peak physical condition he still is. And the guy's I think gonna be 50 if not already. And
You know that
so,
guy played NFL football, real quick.
oh yeah, I did hear about that.
All right, but yeah, so he does the fasting.
Yeah, so he does this intermittent fast. Yeah, he's 50 years old. He does this
Wow.
intermittent fasting, and what it so essentially what it is that you go to sleep, let's say hypothetically 10 at night, right? And you wake up at 6 in the morning or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little earlier. You won't eat until like a certain window. So let's say if you go to sleep at 10, you're gonna eat for like maybe a 6 hour or 8 hour period, but that's the only period that you eat. After that, you're not eating, you're fasting. So, like when you wake up in the morning, most people generally eat. That's the first meal they have, and they call it the breakfast. They break the fast. So, if you don't have that, your body starts to go into this mode where it says, we're not getting any more nutrients. We better start using what we have to supply what we need for the day. We already know we need generally 2,000 calories a day, some more, some less, depending on your weight and your metabolism, etc. So your body will start to go into this mode where it starts to utilize what you already have, and it gives you like a bigger burn, especially if you work out on a fast. So if you wake up in the morning, you don't eat anything, you work out. By the time you're done, your body will have burned much more calories. And if you do weightlifting, weightlifting generally burns more calories even after you're done working out due to the recovery, the tearing of the muscle proteins, and the rebuilding of all this to strengthen and produce new muscle, stronger muscle, more dense fibers. It all of that breaks more calories and burns more fat.
Yeah, I'm big on. I don't know. Like I said, the fasting it's kind of rough for me. But usually after my workouts, I tend not to eat anything. Just drink mostly water for like after the first couple hours. And so when I do eat, and then I'm really hungry, so I'm gonna enjoy it more. But usually, yeah, I'm not big. I don't like to eat before I work out. I don't like to eat after I work out. I don't know if that's a plus or a minus.
So some people, all right, everybody says different things in terms of like how it'll affect you. I've heard people say that you start losing muscle mass if you don't have protein within the first hour after your workout. I've seen some people say that it doesn't matter how long after the workout, as long as you're having it within that same day and in your certain time window. So let's say you wake up at 6 in the morning, you work out, you're done by 8, you go to work for the whole day, 8 to 6 hypothetically. You get out or no, maybe a little less. Let's say you start eating at lunch at work, so you eat at 4 or something like that, and then you're able to eat from 4 until 10 when you go to sleep again. So that's a 6 hour window. You can consume every amount of calories you need, all the food you want throughout that time period, and you'll still be fine versus somebody who eats multiple meals throughout the day. Like it's not like it's going to be a big difference in terms of uh, what you're getting in terms of nutrition. You're still going to get the same nutrition. You're just getting it at a different portion of the day. And another myth is that if you eat late at night, you're going to save all that and you're just going to gain weight. That's
Right.
another myth that was busted because your body's burning calories throughout the day. All you're doing is consuming the calories you needed. It's not going to hold on to them at night because you're sleeping. You're still going to be digesting all that. You're still going to be just using what you need to replenish yourself. It's not going to it doesn't, as long as you don't go over the calories, it pretty much is what you got to watch out for is the amount of calories you're taking in, not what time you're taking them in.
I always wondered. Yeah, I read somewhere that you're actually burning calories when you sleep, and
Right.
I always wondered how many calories you burn when you have sex. I
I
wonder what
think
kind of
yeah.
stuff. Because I read somewhere, depending on the time, but the average sex session you burn about 100 calories, and I found that like, man, it seems so little.
Yeah, actually, now that you mentioned that, yeah, there was a published in the journal Plus One concluded that men burn 100 calories during sex, the average
Right.
sex session, while women burn around 69 calories.
Yeah, because they ain't doing shit. But yeah, because sex is a workout, and I'm just like, and then I'm like, well, let me see. And I remember Googling something, and then I'm just like, the average male burns about 100 calories, and I'm like, damn. What about if you're pulling like a marathon, man? Can you burn up to like 200 or something? And
Is that why like porn stars are always jacked as fuck and shit?
I think they're juicing, man. But yeah, because you're always like you're in that you're like in this mentality to burn calories, and like I was reading somewhere for a while, like if you chew gum, you burn calories. If you fucking, you're burning calories. If you like everything is an opportunity for you to lose weight. But the sex one really intrigued me. I'm like, man, because sometimes you're like, damn, that was good, and then I'm like, did I just burn the 100 calories or did I burn more?
Yeah, I mean, well, technically, even standing still or sitting down, you're still burning calories. Every time you're drawing breath, you're pretty much burning calories. That's how you burn fat. It comes out through your breath.
Really?
Yeah, it's not through the sweat. The sweat is more like urea and acids and maybe some minor amount of toxins you're expelling. Not a major amount, but enough that it helps you. But supposedly, your actual fat burning, it comes out through the breath. It's crazy.
So when you overall work out, the your main reason for working out, what is it? Is it just a healthier lifestyle? You want to be healthier, or you actually get enjoyment from it? Like, what is your? I guess what I'm trying to say. What are you expecting in return from putting in all this work?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I think it's something that's been in me for a long time. Like I've always I've always liked working out. It's never been a chore to me. I enjoy it. Like I feel better now that I worked out today than on the days I don't. And
Right.
I generally work out Tuesday, Thursday, and then Saturday, Sunday, and I give some days off in between. But on the days that I'm off, I just feel really like heavy, sluggish, lazy, almost like not depressed, but like not elevated. And now that I worked out, even though I didn't sleep that well today, I'm kind of a little tired. I'm more energetic than I was before I worked out. So I think that just kind of motivates me to keep it going. And throughout my life, I've had periods where I've been fat or like really overweight. I've had periods where I've been in, relatively good shape or more muscular and everything in between, right? So like I've had the experiences where I'm like, you know what, I don't want to be at that or that particular point anymore. I'd rather be at more this end. And so I know to get to where I want to be, I have to keep this active lifestyle, just for everything, mentally, emotionally, physically, even spiritually, because people who generally live a sedentary lifestyle usually aren't the most happy people. Sometimes they're a little bit depressed and stuff like that.
Yeah, you still there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
There you go. Yeah, you went away. You got that Comcast problem too.
Oh
There you
man,
go.
how much did you hear or didn't hear?
So I just heard you the spiritually, and then you went away for like 5 seconds or so.
Oh
But you're
yeah, so
y-
just it's something that it helps me in every different aspect. Like there's never been a reason for me not to work out. The only excuse I have, I guess, is that it makes me tired. But I know if I didn't work out, I'd be even more tired than when I do.
yeah, absolutely. You know, when I work out, like like I said earlier, I got the treadmill. I bought it off a guy at work, and just to get in here was a fucking hassle. I'm like, you're going through all this trouble to do that, and then earlier in the week, the first day I got on there, my goal was to run 4 miles that morning, and I fucking didn't do it. And I wasn't not disappointed. I was great that I was on there. I'm full of fucking sweat. And then the rest of the day, I forgot that feeling. Like you said, you do feel better for whatever the chemicals in your brain that kicked in. It is a different feeling from when you're not, because when you don't, it's like there's this sluggish feel. It just like the days longer, and the working out to me in the morning, it's like you accomplish so much already than probably like everybody else, and it is a better feeling. You feel light, you feel like you accomplished a big goal, and to me it's like the right way to start off a morning, you know.
Oh, definitely, man. I've been on the opposite end of that where I'll have like a period. Like I said, there were times where I was overweight. Back when I
Mm-hmm.
was like in middle school to high school, there were times where I was just all I was doing was playing video games, or all I was doing was just watching movies and stuff, and just hanging around with the friends. But I wasn't actually working out, and I used to love playing basketball. But when I took a break from all that stuff, I noticed just how like you get in the cycle of like depression, right? Because you're not feeling that energetic high anymore, and you start to look for that feeling, elevation from other things like food or more movies or there's different avenues. Of course, everybody has their vices, but that's when you start to really get into those like bad habits. It's when you don't have a method of releasing the stress and finding a way to cope with the stuff that's going on in your life. I found exercise is very good for that. You're having a shitty day, you're having a good day. Either way, when you work out, your day is better after that.
Yeah, one of my vices, yeah, because I've struggled with my weight too, um, and one of my, but like I could see, like you said, I would watch movies or jump on YouTube, or just basically didn't do shit all day and just fucking gorge on fucking fast food and watch, like I said, YouTube videos on conspiracy theories and just fucking zone out for the whole fucking day. And that's going to take us into our article of the week. You know, we talking about conspiracy theories. I don't know how much you know about Steph Curry from the Golden State Nuggets, Noel.
Yeah,
And
I know he's a champion. I know that.
yeah, fucking guy keeps winning, that little guy. But he jumped onto a podcast. This was breaking news. He jumped on a podcast with Vince Carter and who's the other guy? Vince Carter and Kent Bazemore, and their podcast is called Winging It. And they're like here, they're having conversation, and out of the blue, Curry asks, "Do you think we ever been to the moon?" And like people just jumped on him because that is a big conspiracy theory. I don't know how much you know about it, Noel. I used to like obsess about this for a while. Um,
I saw that Fox special.
yeah, dude, that Fox special in like the '90s, right?
Right.
With the guy Mitch Pileggi from the X Files. That
Exactly.
fucking
Exactly.
dude, I have that on tape. When the torrent shit was crazy, I fucking found it and I downloaded it. I got it on some CD in one of my binders, but I was so fucking shocked. I'm in my fucking, what was it, like my late 20s. I'm watching this and I'm like, fuck, man, this shit makes sense to me. Like, and they put in some credible fucking evidence. And so I guess Steph Curry saw the same thing and people gave him shit. And he's like, "Oh, I was just a joke, guys." Like, I don't know what isn't with NBA players and conspiracies. They've now, we faked the moon landings, flat Earth theory. That's another big one. And I'm hearing more and more people talk about flat Earth, and I'm just like, "Fuck, man, this is crazy." But I don't know the moon landing. I believe we went there. I don't know if you think it's a bunch of bullshit, but have you seen what you recall from that fucking special, Noel? I mean, did any of that, like, you're like, damn, this is all bullshit, man?
The one part that sticks to me after this all this time that's passed since then, I still remember how they were talking about the flag waving, and there was no
Right.
reason for it to wave. Like there's no air out there, there's no wind out there, and somebody said, "Oh, well, they were moving the flag," but there was clearly moments where they weren't moving the flag, but it moved itself. And so I was like, "Huh, that's kind of strange." And they talked about the photos, like how they were certain markings that signified it was like a certain the way the photo took a picture and
The lighting.
yeah, the lighting, like
Yes.
the markings of the shadows, and it was like, huh, okay, okay. And I'm thinking, all right, let's say hypothetically they're right. All this time later, since the 60s, I we have the International Space Station. We had to have been to the moon now. Maybe not. I mean, obviously not us, but somebody from Earth has had to have stepped on the moon now at this point in time.
Well, exactly. Uh, to me, the big one from that special was the shadowing, the lighting, and the big one to me, to the flag waving thing. But the big one to me to this day, and they somewhat tried to explain it, but I called bullshit on it. The stars, there was no stars in any of the fucking pictures,
Oh,
right?
okay.
And then here you could see stars. We're on fucking Earth. Like, I would imagine you would see stars when you're on other planets, right?
Okay.
That to me, to that day, that's the one still sticks out to me. Um, Obviously there's all this other shit that they doctored the photos because they don't want you to see what's really there, because people say there's an oscillus there. The Russians sent this probe before we went there. There's fucking buildings. I urge all you to search. Sci-Fi did a documentary a couple years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, and they analyzed all these pictures on the moon, and they were saying there was buildings on the fucking moon and like satellites and all this. I don't know if you ever seen that one, Noel.
I heard about that, and I don't know if you remember recently they sent a bunch of missiles out there to supposedly like destroy the old like stuff that they left behind or whatever. And
Yeah, they
suppo
bombed the moon.
yeah, and everybody was saying no, they're just trying to destroy the evidence that there's like buildings and shit there. It's like, oh,
Right.
okay, okay.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like what my at my worst, I would watch these videos and I consider myself a conspiracy nut, but the moon landings for there was a summer there where I was fucking hooked, and I watched a bunch of shit. And when Steph Curry said this, going back to the article, I was like, man, they're gonna beat up on it. He knew it. He mentioned on there, oh man, they're gonna come and get me for this, and he said it was a joke. He says he's going back to NASA, and he's gonna go to NASA to take the fucking tour, but it's interesting. It's a big debate out there to this fucking day. But I believe we went, but everything we saw is doctored because there's shit on there that they don't want us to see and they don't want us to know about.
Yeah, once you know that they're secrets, it's like, well, anything is plausible because once you know they're keeping secrets, well, how why wouldn't they keep that a secret? They could be keeping so much more from us. And
Yeah,
obviously, I know about a lot more conspiracies than that, but I don't want to actually go down that rabbit hole exactly because that shit goes far and deep.
yeah, dude, you could get lost going on that YouTube rabbit hole. Um, I've got lost plenty of time and that fucking YouTube rabbit hole, but we'll keep it on the moon landing. The other one is what do you think humanity's biggest accomplishment? To me personally, is space exploration, but going to the moon. Did you know that all the footage that they had, a big chunk of the footage when they went to the moon, they taped over it, or they said they can't find it?
Hmm.
And then they're like, why the fuck would you tape over one of humanity's greatest accomplishment so you could? They used the footage supposedly to record Nixon's inauguration.
Oh,
When I'm like, this shit, like, this cause, and then I'm like, well, maybe they did that because we really didn't go up there.
yeah, that seems really bogus to me. I'm not sure I buy that excuse they gave. Um, but I mean, hey man, you could always ask Buzz Aldrin. I don't know if you saw that video. Some guy was like heckling Buzz Aldrin while he was leaving like a hotel or something,
Right.
and Buzz Aldrin almost knocked this guy out because he was just talking all this shit.
He's like, you never fucking went, and he fucking stuck him.
Yeah. He was already 80 something, dude. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god, he still got it, man.
Yeah, that's like I said, the to me space is to me I'm not gonna say to me it has a lot of meaning because I did watch a lot of documentaries on it, and to see what all this the only thing that sucks today, NASA's not taking the lead in space exploration. It's a lot of private companies, and I have like a mixed feelings about it because I feel they could do more than NASA, but it's like space is gonna get like corporatized, dude. Once they figure this shit out, there's just gonna be it's gonna be costly for the average person. It's gonna be like fucking hotels and all this goofy shit orbiting Earth, and I like I said, I have mixed feelings. It's like I feel it's not for the greater good. It's for like the greater profit. Because you know what, Elon Musk is building these rockets that land, they take off standing up and they land standing off. I don't know if you've seen that video.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Dude, it is a major fucking accomplishment in my eyes, and no one is talking about it. So he's building rockets literally to go to the fucking Mars, right?
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
So one of the big issues is the way we went to the moon is like fucking like just dated and obsoleted. It's wasteful. And one of the things he created is for us to land on other planets, we need to learn how to land vertically. And they were shooting up rockets, and they're trying to get it to land like standing up, dude. And they were struggling. They fucking done it a couple of times already. There's video out there of it, and like to see a fucking like however big this rocket is, it's not like a little rocket. This thing is huge, dude. Land, just come down and in the desert and just land vertically is pretty. I think it's a pretty big engineering accomplishment for Elon Musk's company.
Oh, definitely. SpaceX is pretty much making strides above NASA, and whatever NASA says, oh, you can't do this. SpaceX is like, oh, well, hold my beer real quick. Let me go ahead and get that
Yeah,
done.
exactly, dude. And like, so I don't know what NASA has that, or what's NASA's position in all this, but I think they're kind of encouraging it. But I'm waiting for like the government just to swoop in and like take all this shit. Like, so it's pretty amazing. Did you see that thing, that stunt that guy put on that flat Earth rocket
What about a
in the
flight?
summer? So there was a guy who said he was gonna build a rocket to go into space to prove that the Earth was flat.
Oh wow.
You didn't see that?
No, man. Like I already know the Earth is round based on like well multiple reasons, but one of like the most just like obvious ones is that the fact we have satellites up there. Like they wouldn't be able to be up there if the Earth wasn't round and we weren't making that rotation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, we would be getting our direct TV and shit. So, or our cell phones, or
Our
watching
GPS would
our
be all
porn hubs,
jacked
man.
up.
But yeah, man, it's I don't know. I have some crazy freaking conspiracy theories, but the moon, to me, when I bring that up, it brings a lot of emotions from people. And I don't know if you ever, I don't know, I don't go around asking, hey man, do you think we land on the moon? But I've had some conversations with like fucking strangers about this, and I think a big majority of Americans don't believe we went there.
Yeah, especially in this current like day and age, a lot of people are very skeptical. Um, just looking around, you see all these people questioning everything about the government, and questioning, from the top down. So I could believe that. I could believe a lot of people doubt that we went to the moon, especially considering all the other lies that we've been told throughout the government's existence.
Do you believe in the calories you burn that says on your fucking treadmill, Noel? Huh?
You know what? Nah, man. It's, sometimes I'll see. I'm like, nah, no fucking way. I burned 300 calories already. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, I've always had that debate too with this other guy. I know that he was a runner. He's like, don't believe that number in the treadmill. But like, I'm like, in my mind, like, man, I like this number, dude. Like, I don't want to know the truth. Like, I believe I burned this fucking much. I ran this much. Like, I fucking know it in my heart to be true.
I
But
mean,
it's probably bullshit, right?
well, there's calculators out there, man. Like, believe it or not, like some people, especially if you're heavier and you're starting to work out, you're gonna burn more calories than somebody who's fit and working out. Because the thing
Yeah,
is, you're carrying more weight. There's more that you're putting. There's more that you're exerting to accommodate for the weight that your extra weight you're carrying.
that's what I'm saying. I feel like I used to trust Fitbit. Granted, all my Fitbits have been hand-me-downs. I've bought one for my wife, and she's like, "Oh, here's my old one." I'm like, "All right, sweet." Bought her another one. I'm like, she's like, "This one's more accurate." So I'm like, "What the fuck? The other one's a piece of shit." And I got this one, and I'm starting to see like, I'm starting to think I don't want to knock Fitbit, but I don't know if they ever released how inaccurate they are, or if they are inaccurate, because sometimes I don't believe it. I'm like in the morning, and like I've walked a little bit, and it says like I've done all these steps and I've burned all these calories, and I'm like, man, I'm kind of fucking finding that hard to believe right now.
Well, like there's this website I go to. It has a calorie calculator,
Uh
and
huh.
it goes based off your weight, your height,
Right.
your
Right.
age, and how
Mhm.
heavy you work, and it's gonna use like an algorithm that they came up with using actual like physical studies of people, right? Like, oh, they're at this BMI or whatever index that they use, and then they figure out how many calories did you lose for this amount of workouts per week, and they just start using all that data they accumulated over the years. And so, for example, for me, I work out 4 times a week, generally from anywhere from moderate to intense workouts, depending on the
Mhm.
day.
Right.
So to maintain my current weight, I have to consume 2,796 calories per day. To lose fat, 2,237. To lose a lot of fat, 1,880 per day. And some websites actually show you like a even more crazy breakdown. I just did a quick Google search, but there's a website I can give you a link to, and everybody, all our listeners
Right.
as well, that actually gives you a breakdown of how many calories you're burning just by like breathing, just by living, just by existing, and that's not even considering how much you're gonna burn when you work out.
As I was saying, it to me, it's a big conspiracy, man. Because I I read one. This guy was pushing that you eat the amount of calories for the weight that you want. So if you want to weigh 180 pounds, you should eat what did he say? Like 1,800 calories. If you want to be 150, eat 1,500 calories. If you want to be fucking fatter, then eat the amount of calories you want to be fat. But I don't know. And some people swore by it, and there's people who are shitting on it because it kind of made sense to me. Because like you said, people don't know you're burning calories the whole fucking time. Is just like you're burning more than what the everything they're giving you. You just don't know how much, or again, your weight, your size, and all this other stuff.
Another thing too is if you lower the amount of calories you bring in, like let's say you normally have 2,000 and or no 2,200, right? Like you go a little over what an
Right, right.
average diet is. So you drop it down to 2,000, that's going to be a nice little over time, a little weight loss there. If you drop it down to 1,000, like you completely just like 180 the whole thing and you're half the calories you used to consume, your body will lose fat, but it's going to reach a point where it's like holy shit, like we're not getting any of the nutrition we normally got. It's going to go into like a certain mode where it almost plateaus and your body adjusts to that calorie intake. And in order to lose more weight, you're going to either have to burn more calories or consume even less than the ones that you were before. And that's going to throw your whole shit out of whack. So for a healthy individual, I say start out slow, start out like restricting calories by maybe like you know, 20%, something like that. So if you normally consume, like 2,000 a day, lower it down by like 400. So now you're consuming 1,600 a day, and then you're gonna burn whatever you normally burn. And I think it's about 3,000 calories per pound, right? So
Well,
going
I
from
don't know about that. That seems a lot to burn. Or you're saying 3,000 to burn? Oh, to burn 3,000 calories for a 1 pound
it's 3,500 equals 1 pound. Now
of calories.
of calories. Uh-huh.
That seems kind of high.
That's what it says here, according to my Google search, MayoClinic.org.
Fucking conspiracy, man. That seems high, dude.
Yeah, no,
Again, I guess I'm not. I'm forgetting. I'm thinking about what my Fitbit and the fucking treadmill numbers say, and then like again, it's not accounting for the calories that you burned the rest of the day. So yeah, I guess that would make sense. If you limit what you eat, you're probably burning. If you work out an intense workout, you're probably burning. You know, you're burning up to, I believe, up to like three. Maybe 28, maybe, probably 2,000 calories a day if you do it right. If you watch what you eat.
uh, you wouldn't want to burn that much in one day, because like you don't want to lose too much fat too quickly either. That's how you
Right.
start doing damage to your body. You want to like a nice gradual decline, and it also helps to like let's say you're starting from a really overweight point and you're getting down to a really nice like skinny or like healthier point. If you rush that, a lot of the skin doesn't have time to gain its elasticity, to gain its like what is it called? Like the tightness that it had before, right? So it's better to have
Mm-hmm.
a nice gradual burn. So 3,500 calories. So if you lower your diet down by 400 to 600 calories, and you're burning already a couple hundred, you're burning, let's say, 650 a day. But every week, it's almost about a pound, 3,250, 3,250 calories based on the numbers I put in. So, that's not too bad. A pound a week, 4 pounds a month. it's that's not too bad. It could be
Yeah.
better, but it all depends on your like timeline, I guess. Do you need to burn more? Like, are you gonna be like, doing a movie or something, and you're like Sylvester Stallone, you gotta get jacked for like the next Rocky or something, or it all depends on where you're at.
Yeah, I was told if you lose 2 pounds uh, a week, that's like pretty healthy. Like I said, at my peak, when I did all that weight loss, I was losing like fucking four, from like 3 to 4 a week. So the most I ever lost after I got my routine in a month, watching what I eat, was like 15 pounds. I would average about 10 to 15 pounds a month. And then that's when I kind of plateaued towards the end, and I started changing up some things. But I kept it for that consistent for a little bit, and then but yeah, you got to change it. The other thing we kind of didn't talk about it, the plateauing, especially if you're like, my major thing was just cardio, dude. I was running like a shitload of miles, and your body does get used to it. You got to change it up, and I know for weightlifting too, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to stick to the same thing for too long because the body
Right.
does get used to it. That's one of the things that early on, like maybe right after high school, when I first started getting like serious about losing weight, that I started P90, and I don't know if you've ever heard of
Yeah,
P90.
P90X.
Yeah, well, they have the variations, the X and all the other ones, even like Insanity, and there's all these different like alternatives to that. But essentially, what it's about is not allowing your body to get to that plateau mode where your body starts adapting to the workouts. Because if you keep throwing different things to it, like a workout that's using all the different muscle groups, then that's when your body starts to like really get into like this heavy calorie burning mode where it doesn't know how to adjust. So you're constantly burning calories and you never get into this like just comfortable mode. You're always pushing yourself.
I'm gonna just tell you this: in my retail arbitrage, the P90X and the Insanities, they make great money. I would find those at the thrift shops for like $4, and I just flip them for like $30 for each kit if they were complete. Oh man, those things are a money maker. There's a
Yeah.
lot of fatties out there trying to lose weight, and they think those home DVDs are gonna do it, man.
You know, it's not a bad place to start. That is actually where I started my journey.
Right, right.
But to each their own, man. Everybody has their own, tried and true method.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The P90X, I popped in a DVD, and I was like, eh. The one I feel like if I were to do it, I found an Insanity set once, and that one, that shit was hard. That was some hardcore shit, dude. And like you're bouncing in the house and shit. And I was just like, damn, man. Like I don't know, that one is that was probably more intense than I feel like the P90X.
Yeah, dude. That shit makes the boot camp look like a party.
But yeah, man, we gotta get out of this party, guys. We went heavy centric on the working out because that's what we're into right now. If you guys got questions, suggestions, and all that, send it to ffnquestions@gmail.com. Also on the conspiracies, man, I'm a conspiracy nut. Noel said, "Fuck that." He's like, man, we went to the moon. Earth's fucking round. Fuck off. Send us your thoughts on all that. But we want to thank y'all for listening. Remember to follow us on the Facebook and Twitter. I did get it asked on Twitter if we do guest, and I told them not right now, but who knows. We're going to be on the Freeform Network. Don't forget to check out our webpage, freeformnetwork.podbean.com. And, that's where we are. You can see our links when we're all fucking ripped and shit. And don't forget, we're on many platforms: Stitcher, Podbean, we're on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, you name it, we're on it. Whatever we want to make it easier for you guys to listen. And then, hook us up, give us a subscribe, give us a like. Again, I can't stress enough, email us, We like hearing from you guys. But again, this is Freeform Radio. This is we have Noel.
All right, see you guys. I hope the government doesn't tap my phones with all this conspiracy talk.
I'm pretty sure they are.
Oh shit.
And we have Andy, who doesn't get Alexa because I want Jeff Bezos to hear what I'm doing in my bedroom when I'm doing my workout in there. And we'll check you out next time, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
That was cool, Dad.